I'll quickly mention this. The son of Snow White producer Mark Platt, Jonah Platt is the son's name. He is speaking out publicly against Rachel Zegler and blaming her for the film's catastrophic failure at the box office.
There has been a consistent wave of controversy surrounding the upcoming live-action Snow White film from Disney. Speculation, leaks, and online backlash have all played a part. But one of the most talked about rumors involves two of the film's stars, Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot. Unverified claims suggest Rachel Zegler has filed a $100 million defamation lawsuit against Gal Gadot. The allegation is based on the idea that Gal's statements, public or private, caused measurable harm to Rachel's image and future career prospects. No official court filings have been made public. There is no docket, no judge has commented, no legal team has confirmed the existence of a lawsuit.
Playing roles like that. So it was definitely, when it got announced, it was a huge...
You mean your guess is as good as mine, ethnicity?
Trending on Twitter for days because all of the people were angry.
Yet the rumor has spread quickly, fueling endless discussions online and across entertainment media. Alleged tension between the two actresses did not begin recently. Reports claim their conflict began during early stages of production. Multiple insiders have pointed to the table read sessions as the first visible sign of friction. According to one anonymous crew member, subtle disagreements started during line delivery rehearsals. Rachel reportedly asked for changes to her dialogue. Gal, in contrast, preferred to stick with the script. Sources close to the set describe creative disagreements that escalated over time. These included differences in performance direction, conflicting interpretations of their characters, and varying views on how to modernize the story. Rachel pushed for a stronger feminist tone in her portrayal. Gal allegedly questioned whether this direction fit with the film's core themes.
Yeah, because there's nothing more effective than 19-year-olds educating the rest of the voting public while yelling, "Okay, boomer."
Producers were caught in the middle. Behind the scenes, their interactions were reportedly strained. Some crew members supposedly tried to mediate. Others allegedly chose sides. The environment was said to be uncomfortable, with moments of visible tension during joint rehearsals. Communication between the two leads gradually deteriorated. By the second month of filming, they were reportedly only interacting through intermediaries. Social media didn't help. Rachel's post became controversial. Some of her comments about outdated storylines drew criticism. Gal remained quieter, only posting standard promotional material. But online, speculation began to spread. Rachel's fans and critics alike began to read between the lines.
It's her friend screaming.
Wow.
And this, by the way, nobody was in there.
A perceived silence from Gal was seen by some as passive disapproval. By the midpoint of production, the relationship between the two stars had allegedly become cold and strictly professional, with no signs of reconciliation. Problems with the film extended beyond interpersonal tension. The project suffered from major production issues that increased both cost and time. Disney reportedly approved multiple rounds of reshoots. The original budget ballooned, with some estimates exceeding $200 million. Test screenings yielded underwhelming results. Viewers consistently criticized the lack of on-screen chemistry between Zegler and Gadot. One test audience member described the dynamic as unfocused and emotionally flat. Executives grew concerned about the trajectory of the project. Creative teams were asked to revisit several key scenes. Visual effects teams had to rework sequences due to pacing complaints.
That she believes that she should be able to express herself and speak her truth or whatever nonsense, regardless of the consequences to everybody else.
Multiple departments experienced delays. The entire production became a logistical challenge. Rachel Zegler's public comments about the film's direction also contributed to growing controversy. In multiple interviews, she described her version of Snow White as a more independent, self-driven character. She emphasized modern values and framed the story as a departure from traditional fairy tale narratives. According to her, this Snow White didn't dream of love or rely on a prince. Instead, she wanted to be a leader and make her own decisions. This reinterpretation sparked mixed reactions. While some praised the effort to update the character for modern audiences, many fans of the classic film were not pleased. Critics argued that the original Snow White was a product of its time and should be respected as a cultural artifact.
They had the whole dwarf midget issue where they decided they weren't going to have any midget actors, right? They were having DEI-inspired magical creatures to replace.
Others accused Zegler of belittling the charm and innocence that made the 1937 film iconic. Online forums, video essays, and reaction videos picked up on her remarks almost immediately. In some cases, her interviews were clipped, edited, and shared without full context. Key phrases like, "not going to be saved by a prince," and "written by men," circulated rapidly. These sound bites became central talking points in debates about whether modern adaptations were straying too far from their roots. The backlash intensified over time. Some users accused her of being dismissive. Others questioned why she accepted the role if she didn't respect the original film. Fan accounts compiled compilations of her most controversial statements. Hashtags trended. Comment sections became battlegrounds. Disney remained silent throughout. No clarification was issued. No damage control strategy was deployed. The studio chose not to reframe or contextualize Zegler's remarks, leaving the controversy to grow organically. In the absence of any official response, the narrative continued to shift against her. Gal Gadot, by contrast, maintained a quieter public image. Her interviews were more reserved. She praised the original film's artistry and declined to engage in cultural commentary. This created a visible contrast between the two leads. Privately, Rachel was said to be concerned. She allegedly viewed some of Gal's offhand political statements as a risk to the film's branding. Gal, meanwhile, reportedly saw no issue with her approach. These contrasting media strategies highlighted deeper differences between the actresses.
It was
the
this
people that we
awakening
need to educate, the people that we need to love into awareness.
Rachel pushed for bold statements. Gal favored safe, neutral language. The studio reportedly struggled to manage the growing tension. A major flashpoint occurred during a promotional photo shoot. Reports claimed the atmosphere on set was tense from the start. What began as a disagreement over positioning and wardrobe turned into a verbal exchange. Sources say Rachel and Gal raised their voices. The argument allegedly happened in front of photographers and marketing staff. Rumors quickly spread that the dispute included personal accusations and unfiltered opinions about each other's professionalism. Although no video footage was released, several attendees leaked descriptions online. This incident is now believed to have contributed directly to the defamation rumors that would emerge weeks later.
It's really what acting is, to pretend. They didn't earn it the same way, and so it comes with this entitlement.
Not long after the incident at the promotional shoot, online platforms were flooded with alleged leaks from the Snow White set. Screenshots of private text messages began circulating in group chats, Twitter threads, and fan subreddits. Some messages appeared to show passive-aggressive exchanges between the cast. Others seemed to reference disagreements about press obligations and rewrites. Short audio clips also surfaced. In several, raised voices were heard, though the speakers were not always identifiable. One particular clip, which many believed featured Rachel and Gal, captured a heated exchange about professionalism and personal responsibility. The authenticity of the audio was never confirmed. Still, it spread quickly across social media and commentary channels. Fan communities became hyper-focused on analyzing every detail. YouTube commentators released hour-long breakdowns of the supposed texts. TikTok creators pieced together timelines. Reddit threads speculated on what wasn't being shown. The prevailing narrative was that the set had become unstable and that egos were clashing without clear direction from the top. Memes and reaction videos flooded the internet. Some mocked the production's dysfunction. Others questioned how Disney had allowed the situation to spiral. The leaked materials painted a picture of chaos, an environment where control had been lost and professionalism had broken down. Despite the mounting noise, Disney declined to comment. There was no statement from the studio, no attempt to validate or debunk the leaks. Neither Zegler nor Gadot addressed the situation publicly. The silence created a vacuum. Viewers filled it with assumptions, theories, and new rumors. Within a week, the leaks had eclipsed the film itself in public interest. The behind-the-scenes drama became the story.
Who was supposed to be the hero in Snow White? The original story, the original adaptation. It was the prince, the quote-unquote stalker, who kisses her and wakes her up and saves her life.
The narrative shifted away from the movie's content and onto the people making it. The damage was already done. Amid the chaos, rumors of a lawsuit began to emerge. According to anonymous insiders, Rachel's legal team considered defamation action not necessarily for justice, but as a PR tactic. The alleged goal was to reposition her as the victim of targeted damage, both reputational and professional. With the film underperforming in test audiences and her public image suffering, the lawsuit rumor worked as a narrative shift. Whether or not any legal proceedings were initiated, the existence of the rumor created a new dynamic. It suggested Rachel was pushing back against what she perceived as sabotage. It also gave her camp an opportunity to reframe her public perception. The final version of the film did not fare well. Early critic reviews were tepid at best. Common criticisms included uninspired performances, inconsistent pacing, and a lack of emotional resonance. The chemistry between Zegler and Gadot was described as minimal. The tone of the film was said to be disjointed, unsure whether it was a fairy tale, a satire, or a lecture. Even the visual effects, typically a Disney stronghold, were called out for feeling over-processed and soulless. The film lacked the charm and simplicity of the original. For many viewers, it was difficult to connect with any of the characters. The film's release strategy also raised questions. Disney did not allow early press screenings in some regions. Promotion was muted. Interviews were selectively approved. The entire campaign felt reactive. What was meant to be a modern reimagining of a beloved story has become something else entirely. Snow White has become a case study in production dysfunction, mishandled branding, and unchecked interpersonal drama. Instead of a box office success, the film now serves as a cautionary tale. From the outset, the project was shaped by unclear creative direction, clashing talent, and conflicting priorities. The addition of behind-the-scenes rumors only accelerated its collapse. Neither Disney nor the main cast members have attempted a public reconciliation. No one has denied the rumors directly, but no confirmations have been issued either. The silence has created a vacuum that continues to be filled with commentary, speculation, and blame. In the end, the controversy surrounding Snow White has eclipsed the film itself. What should have been a modern celebration of legacy storytelling has instead become a symbol of fractured vision and off-screen chaos.